basically how this whole thing came about from the VW.
Well, I think that, when you look at the agreement, and I think different people alluded to it, there were really four basic tenets to the agreement that we came with both California and the U.S. One was, make it right by the government. That's what the penalties, the civil and criminal penalties that were levied and paid. Then it was make it right by the customer, which is what we always refer to as Appendix A, and Appendix B, which is fix the cars, fix them or get them off the roads or buy back. To date, we've bought back or fixed over 330,000 cars since November, so pretty staggering number. And then there was Appendix D, which is remediate the air quality, so take care of past and future air issues as a result of this. And then last was Appendix C, which was really about how do you rebuild your brand and how do you rebuild trust in America. And we thought an investment in new technology and new infrastructure would be the right way to do it.
Tell us why Sacramento was the winner.
It was interesting. We went through a pretty meticulous process. I mean, certainly the cities. We wanted a city that was dense enough, had a population probably a little bit more than 400,000 people. That was important for us. So that narrowed down all the LA cities down to about 6 or 7. So then at there, we started looking at mobility fit, transformational opportunity, environmental justice. Could you improve the disadvantaged areas? And Sacramento in particular on the mobility fit was one of the tightest fits I've ever seen, and I've been doing this a long time. It has 6 or 7 contiguous census tracts that you see a lot of people commute in, and that's important for us because the asset needs to be utilized. So it's not like gas where the person can go drive down the road and get a gas station. He needs to have a charge. So we wanted a very tight fit, and Sacramento fit perfectly. And then as we got to know them, and we had made the recommendation prior to that, but as we got to know them, we think that it's a very innovative administration. We're impressed and looking forward to working with them.
Why the focus on underserved communities like this one we're in?
I think it's more a question on the policymakers, but I think that it's important. This type of technology has primarily been adopted by wealthy, and I think that needs to change. In order for it to be mass adoption in the future, I think that needs to change. And I think used cars coming. We've never had used cars in the marketplace yet, so the UIO is building, the units in operation we call it. It's building, so that will help us do that. But I think I think if to get mass adoption, you're going to have to. You got to be equal across the board.
So, when is the first concrete thing? What is it that we could first see and when?
Well, I think in the next several weeks we want to sit down with the city and we talked about car sharing being a primary focus at first, but I think we also need to come back and look at what are their priorities also, and we want to sit down with them. We have ideas. I mean, I love ride sharing. I think it's a huge opportunity. We've seen success in different cities across the country, but I think again we want to work with the city and make sure that we set the priorities. So first thing, set priorities. Second one is we got to build an infrastructure no matter what. So that infrastructure's got to come in. So out of the $44 million, at least $10 to $11 million is in the neighborhood for infrastructure. So that's the first tangible thing you'll see is you'll see charging stations, and you'll see a lot of them.
Around when-ish?
I would say we'll start building within the next 6 to 8 months. So pretty.
So, Mr. Mayor, what do you think it was that put Sacramento over the top for being chosen the first of these green cities?
Well, I know the reason. Sacramento is increasingly being seen as the center of technology and innovation. You look at the last several months, whether it's Verizon choosing Sacramento to invest tens of millions of dollars, up to $100 million in wireless infrastructure, whether it's Electrify America saying Sacramento is the city we want to test and expand electric vehicles, whether it's Kevin Nagel privately financing a Major League Soccer stadium. On many fronts, this city and this region are being seen statewide and nationally as the next great American city, and we've got the right culture and a very hungry set of civic leaders and government leaders who are aggressive about going after this.
Now, you have, this is not a new thing for you to say you're going to take these $44 million and leverage them and do others.
Yes.
What are some of the economic benefits you expect to draw out of
Well, obviously, we're going to have many EV charging stations. Mark McNabb talked about being the nation's leader here around ride sharing with EVs and e-taxi, and there's a whole host of innovations. But I want to add one other thing. We want to be the center of industry. We want to be the center of high-wage job creation around alternative fuels and electric vehicles. And so we're going to sit down and talk about how we catalyze some of this money to create an industry center. None of this is unrelated to the fact that Gary May started as the chancellor at the University of California, Davis yesterday, because UC Davis is going to be a key partner in building a alternative fuels technology center in the greater Sacramento region. And so, look, this will be a success no matter what. It'll be an even greater success if we take this $44 million and we double it, triple it, by partnering with others who are interested in Sacramento being a job center around this new technology.
And what do you expect to get out of it by aiming a lot of it at communities like this one we're in today?
Well, it reinforces the absolute commitment and an essential part of our civic culture, which is that we grow a cosmopolitan, high-wage economy, but it always must be connected back to the neighborhoods, and especially the disadvantaged neighborhoods and youth. And, this is not going to be just a niche technology for some people who can afford it. This has to be for everybody. And so having the press event out here was purposeful and significant. Okay.
Do you think, since we're going to be the first city to get benefit from this could bring additional business from companies that are interested in seeing how we're doing things?
No question. I mean, look at Congresswoman Matsui talked about autonomous vehicles and the fact that we're now being seen as the center of autonomous vehicle research and technology. Confidence and victories beget more confidence and more victories. And that's what's happening here. Yes, this is going to attract more industry and more investment. Success and good news. Please welcome council members Eric Guetta, SMUD board member Greg Fishman, City Council member Steve Hansen, and County Supervisor Don Natoli. So I think it's fair to say that we're on fire here in Sacramento. And I don't just mean the heat either. I mean the spirit. I mean the progress. I mean the sense, not just in our city and in our region, but throughout the state, that this is the place to innovate. This is the place to do business, whether it is our booming arts and culture scene, or moving ground on a privately financed soccer stadium in the rail yards, to the riverfront, to so much more. We're also making sure that we connect everything we do in this city, in this county, and in this region to the communities that are stressed by crime, by poverty, and ensuring that the economic growth and prosperity spreads far and wide and includes the people who need our leadership the most. We envision Sacramento as a hub for research and development of zero-emission technologies. We want to make Sacramento a living laboratory, a test bed for innovative ideas that will help uplift our disadvantaged communities. We will leverage this Green City investment to attract and foster strategic partnerships that advance this vision and use it as a catalyst to develop an industry center for advanced vehicle technologies. We are excited about being designated the inaugural Green City to electrify America's ZEV investment plan. And I want to thank Electrify America, Volkswagen, specifically Mark McNabb and his team, for being great partners and working so hard to help bring us to this day. Mark, thank you so much. for his passion and for his commitment. And Phil played two roles. He's not only the county supervisor that helped lead the effort here, but he also is a gubernatorial appointee to the State Air Resources Board. And so from multiple angles, Phil Cerna has been instrumental in this process in bringing us to this successful day. Please join me in welcoming Supervisor Phil Cerna.
Thank you, Mayor Steinberg, for that gracious introduction. Today is obviously going to be filled with many deserved thank yous to a whole host of folks. I want to start by thanking our mayor. As you can tell, I think it's obvious to most that Darrell Steinberg, as our mayor of Sacramento, has really come to this position, I'd say more than with his feet running on the ground. He's been an exceptional leader throughout his entire career, but it's a new capacity for him as our mayor. And I think you've seen in him someone that really wants to groom partnership as a theme to his administration. And this is just yet another example of that, where with his leadership, we have been able to work very swiftly, effectively here in Sacramento, again with the help of a number of organizations, individuals, elected leadership, and others, to make sure that we bring this type of investment to our community that we love. So let me just say a few words, wearing the two hats that the mayor mentioned I wear. First, I want to thank the folks that actually did the investigating, did the research, asked the right questions to get us to this point. And that is the incredible staff, the personnel at the California Air Resources Board. If you are a current Air Resources Board staff member or a former staff member, please raise your hand. All right. Because of these scientists, these legal minds, these policy wonks that did the real work to uncover the deception, the Volkswagen scandal, and brought to light the fact that if we're going to pursue the future of ZEV technology across the globe, we have to make sure that we are using belt and suspenders to make sure that we're all doing the right thing, including industry. And so I know you're going to hear from Mark McNabb a little later, but this really is a case of taking lemons and making some extraordinary lemonade. And I can't say enough about the talent that I get the opportunity to work with at ARB. I also want to say that as a county supervisor, it's very rewarding to be able to literally work one part of the day doing something like this, working on the impacts from a global issue, and at the same time look at what it means here locally. I can't tell you how rewarding it is to be here. This is where I first lived in Sacramento, the first 2 years of my life. I've said it before, we've had a number of press conferences here for other matters, but the first 2 years of my life I lived here when it was called New Helvetia. And as the mayor mentioned, we're not just looking at expanding the ZEV technology for the right reasons in terms of reducing carbon emissions and addressing climate change, but we're doing it responsibly with an eye towards environmental justice. And that's why we're here in particular at Altar Grove, the largest public housing campus anywhere in the Sacramento Valley. So again, that's a very personal thing for me, and it means a great deal. So with that, I want to introduce someone that really doesn't need an introduction, but she is, of all the elected leadership, I have to say, we work as a team. She's our leader. She's our congresswoman from the 6th District. Please welcome Congresswoman Doris Matsui.
Yeah, I'm adjusting this thing here. I'm sort of vertically challenged compared to the other people here. But let me just tell you, first of all, hi everyone. This is a fabulous day. And I don't care how hot it's going to get today. This is an important day, and it really does demonstrate what we're doing here in Sacramento. I do want to thank, board member, Supervisor Cerna for all his talents and all his experience and his commitment. And in fact, we were working on legislation just the last couple of weeks on the deployment and testing of autonomous vehicles. And I was on the phone constantly with the Air Resources Board to ensure that California doesn't get preempted, that we really keep our standards. And we worked out something when the legislation passed, at least our committee. And that really does demonstrate how hard we all in California in this area believe in what is happening and what is happening today. I'd also like to thank and congratulate Mayor Steinberg and everyone else who played a role in earning Sacramento this designation to electrify America's first green city. This designation is a major victory for advocates of cleaner air, social justice, and mobility solutions of the future. I think we all understand what a game changer this is for our city. And I want to take a moment to position today's announcement within the broader context of what's happening in this great region. We are an innovative, entrepreneurial, and vibrant city. We're shaping the future right here in a unique way. We're not waiting to have it just come to us. The Green City designation is a perfect example of how we in Sacramento are taking the future in our hands. Another example is how Mayor Steinberg and I are working closely with the Kings, VSP, the state of California, and other local agencies to make Sacramento a testing ground for fully autonomous vehicles. Autonomous electric vehicles represent the promise for a safer, more efficient transportation future, and the Green City designation will help to accelerate the adoption of this technology. I am convinced that when we in Sacramento collaborate across industries and disciplines, as we did in competing for and winning this Green City designation, we will drive the future.
Average day in the new Sacramento. That's what it is, right? We win and we progress on behalf of the people. It's my honor now to introduce someone that I've gotten to know over the last few months who, as Supervisor Cerna sort of alluded to, inherited a pretty tough situation. And yes, lemonade out of lemons, but he's taken this on in a way that is not only going to help Sacramento, but is going to help the greater state of California and many communities throughout the country. But we're grateful that, again, Electrify America, the Air Resources Board, saw Sacramento for who we are and where we're heading. And we're very grateful to Mark McNabb, our partner in this. And by the way, he's going to be our partner moving forward, because now we have to sit down together and be strategic about exactly how we invest this money and how we catalyze this money to bring in more resources along the lines that Congressman Matsui said a moment ago. Please welcome the CEO for Electrify America, Mark McNabb.
Sorry. It's pretty tough following these speakers. They're pretty good at this. I want to thank everybody, Mayor Steinberg, Commissioner Cerna, Congresswoman Matsui, CARB Executive Officer Richard Corey, and all the other distinguished speakers here. I very, very much appreciate the opportunity to sit down and explain a little bit about what Electrify America is going to do in the future. My name is Mark McNabb. I am the CEO. I've spent 30 years in the automotive industry, the last 2 years really working in particularly on the TDI diesel remediation plans. Our goals are very simple with this investment. We want to not only transform, but we also want to transition into a new transportation sector in the ZEV, in the whole ZEV sector. So I always tell everyone it is my passion and it is absolutely my intent there's only one time in my career I've ever had the opportunity to transform an industry, and this is it right here and now. We can move this industry in a lot of different ways because of this investment. I'm enthusiastic really about the relationship with Sacramento. They have been great to deal with. I truly believe that the projects will make a difference for all the people in Sacramento and the communities around Sacramento, and to further the adoption of ZEV in the future. Before I want to go too far, I just want to thank a few other people here. This was a lengthy process to get here. Sometimes painful, sometimes not painful, but actually, I see the laughs. But I really want to thank CARB, the Commissioner Cerna, Richard Corey, and all the members of CARB. I truly believe that this investment plan is better today than what we submitted 6 months ago, and that truly came from their efforts to convince us and move us and also talk with us about what the future needed to be. And I think we ended up with a much better plan as a result of it. To the Sacramento region, it was impressive at the California Air Resource Board hearing about all the people that came in from Sacramento, but in particular Mayor Steinberg. The unwavering support has been great. SMUD, I can't even begin to tell you how innovative an energy provider that you are. AQMD, I'm really looking forward in your new role, so it should be a lot of fun. And then the EV industry in general. It was one thing that didn't really show up, but the EV industry, in particular Tesla, GM, and Nissan, actually all supported the plan. And that's important for me because it tells me we're on the right track. When you look at it, they represent about 80% of the sales today in the zero-emission vehicle categories. 8 charging companies supported us, utilities from all around the state. I can't thank you all enough for that support. I guess now really a little bit about our vision. I want to build something that lasts, and my team wants to build something that lasts. Our goal is to go beyond the 10 years with a sustainable business model. We will strive to serve Californians for more than these 10 years. In the Green City, we will test and innovate access and mobility ideas, as Mayor Steinberg alluded to in his comments. We'll start with ZEV car sharing, which will build on the current program, the Our Community Car Share pilot that's currently going on. It was really heartwarming on the people that came up and testified at the hearing and talked about how it's changed their lives. And the more that we can change people's lives and move them into adoption of ZEVs in the future, I think is really a great thing for all of us. For the underserved Sacramento residents, as has been alluded to, there are a lot of underserved communities here. We believe that car sharing, ride sharing, e-taxi, all these types of things in the future are all on the table and should be discussed. And I think there is an awful lot to sit down with the mayor and actually look at the priorities of the region and then figure out where we go from there. Car sharing's been it's been a success in Europe. It's done quite well. There are many cities that actually do it quite well, but it has not been a success in the U.S. It is struggled, especially electric car sharing because of the range. That is something we believe we can change with the infrastructure investments that we make. We believe we can also change that, but also because we have willing partners. And I think the city of Sacramento has definitely gone about this the right way. We believe that they are a great partner to try and make this a success and move it forward as a new progressive model. Beyond car sharing, I mentioned there's a number of different things. I think e-taxi, e-ride sharing, shuttles, last mile delivery are all very important elements that need to be talked about in order to further electrification and ZEV in the future. Our infrastructure will be substantial. The exact number and the exact type of charging stations will depend on the models that we adopt in car sharing and ride sharing. So we'll have to work again with the city to determine exactly what type of chargers that are needed. We'll also be investing in stations at workplaces, multi-unit dwellings, retail locations across Sacramento, Roseville, Arden, and Arcadia. We'll be investing in high-powered charging stations on the corridors. which Sacramento residents will depend on, including Highway 99, Interstate 5, and Interstate 80. These stations are 350 up to 350 kilowatts. That means that you can charge 20 miles every minute of charging power. So really, really fast charging. Nothing that's out there today approaches that at this time. My team, I'm proud. We've had to put this team together rather quickly over the last 6 months. We're 50 people strong. We have 4 people that will be here stationed, particularly in California, on the infrastructure side, and then we'll have the whole Green Cities, most of the Green Cities team here also. We have people from all different backgrounds, automotive, charging companies, technology companies, all the way down to construction, business strategy, and I even hired government people. So, I just had to throw it in there. I'll leave it. In closing, though, I'd really like to say, look, I'm so excited about this opportunity. I'm so excited about this investment in California. I think it will create jobs, it'll reduce pollution, but it'll also lead us into a new technology, which I'm just really excited. I can't explain it well enough. We're especially excited on the new mobility ideas in Sacramento. They are just groundbreaking in my mind. And it's the right city, the right leadership to actually advance ZEV in the future. So thank you all for having me. I very much appreciate it, and I will turn it back over.